Good morning, you guys. Hopefully, somebody's going to be here this morning because I am late. I'm sorry. I apologize for my tardiness, but you guys can probably tell by my voice that I am done this morning. I overslept. It took me, I woke up like 20 minutes ago, y'all. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I could not fall asleep last night. I've been having trouble sleeping lately. So I am here this morning. If you are new to Roycycled, my name is Royce Hunt Bell, and I'm the founder, owner, and operator of Roycycled Treasures. And we're meeting here on Monday mornings. We have been saying Mixed Media Monday, but I've changed it to Mad Scientist Monday because it's kind of more appropriate. If you know me, then you know. So we're here for, hey, Sylvia. Hey, Jerry. Thank you, guys. I know I'm late, y'all. I'm late. We are meeting here on Monday morning, and we'll be playing our mixed media mashup game. If you want a copy of the game, if you're on Facebook, you can put hashtag create, and you'll receive a copy of the game. If you're on YouTube, you can pop over to my community page, and there is a post with a link where you can snag the game as well. And so the game is I have this jar of sticks, and each one of them has labels on them, or we'll say prompts. It has prompts on there for things that I need to do. So I'm just going to scramble these up because I feel like we've been pulling for a few weeks now. So I want to make sure everything is scrambled. Let me switch the cameras around. Good morning, April. How are you? We'll be quiet, okay, April? Hey, Karen. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Yvette. How are you this morning? So, you guys, these are the sticks that we're using, and each one of them has a specific challenge on them. So, this one says collage, transparent paper, which I did pull that one last week. This one says stencils, stencil under decoupage paper. Oh, wow. See, those are all the ones I pulled last week. So I'm going to scramble these. And they're all different. You might have something to do with stamps, with stencils, with mold transfers, with paint, and obviously with decoupage paper. And so the challenge for me is to pull 4 random ones each Monday. And then on the spot, you guys, I have to come up with a project. So I don't know. We'll see what happens this morning. I stopped pulling out decoupage paper because why? Every Monday I completely change based on what I pull. So that's a waste of time. But I do pull out a surface. And this is so I just mix those up and put them back in there. This is just a clipboard that I already had prepped. I think this was one of the projects I had prepped for my daily lives in January, but it was left over. Oddly enough, you guys can't see it. You look at that. You see the bleed through that I got around? Isn't that weird? But I don't think it's enough to impact our project. So I've already primed the metal. And the PintArt bonding primer works so good on metal. I love it. Good morning, Judy. Oh my God. So no, Sylvia, I forgot to change the date on the event. So I went ahead and kept the 9 o'clock, but I will be changing it for next week. So I will be an hour later, you guys, because 9 a.m. is crazy for me. I just cannot. I'm a night owl. I'll be up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I generally wake up at 9. Unless the baby's here, then I have to get him up and get ready for school. But so this is what we're going to work on today. So this will be our surface, will be the clipboard. I'm excited that it's fully prepped. Look at that. I even have the metal part all primed and ready to go. Let me get my mess off the table. I wanted to talk a little bit about last week's project before we started this one, because I realized something in my kind of haste and excitement. I made a mistake. So this was the final project, and on the transparent paper, you guys see how the paper is a little darker than I wanted it to be. And what I did was I chose a dark piece of the paper. I was so focused on the color that I wanted, I didn't think about how dark this specific spot was. So I should have chosen a lighter part of the paper, and then my clothes would have been more transparent. You can still see, you know, the transfer under there, but I should have used a lighter portion of that paper, and it would have been a lot more transparent. So when you're wanting to take advantage of the transparency of your decoupage paper, just remember that the lighter the paper is, the more transparent it is. Okay, so I have my surface. This is my surface. Let's see what punishment you guys are going to put me in today. And I close my eyes when I pick because I don't want to, you know, subconsciously pick something that I want to do. And my hope is that I'll pick from 4 different categories. If I don't, I'll repick. But I haven't had to worry about that so far. Oh, very good. So decoupage, use an opaque top layer. So I'll have to add a medallion over my paper, but make it opaque on that one. Texture, physical texture over the paper. Oh, that's kind of cool to have that. And then traditional decoupage method. And when I say traditional decoupage method, hey, Night Owl. Girl, I was just talking about me being a night owl. When I say traditional decoupage method, I guess I'm just talking about decoupaging over a wet medium, because you can use the iron-on method, right? That's one way that you can decoupage, or you can use the traditional method, which is just like we normally do when you're laying your paper in a wet product. And speaking of which, I teach the iron-on method because so many people are fond of it, and I get it. You get immediate smooth results, and it's beautiful right away. But I will tell you that if you live in an area that has a lot of humidity, you're more likely to deal with like issues down the road if you do the iron-on method. The traditional method really is the best for like long-term finishes. And then my 4th one is stencil, and it's a raised stencil. So I'm probably going to end up with these two being together, the raised stencil and the physical texture on top of the paper. And then the decoupage method is traditional. This is going to be kind of easy, not easy. It's not, I mean, it's not like nothing crazy here. The Lord knew that I was still half asleep, so he's being nice to me. Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate it. Okay. So then what are we going to do? Because I didn't even contemplate a paper this morning. I literally was just like, oh, I'll just show up and we'll figure it out. I have wanted to work with the Photography Masterboard decoupage paper, and I haven't really had an opportunity, so I'll pull that one out. We're going to put texture over the top. Let me think. Oh, you know what I should do? I don't have clay, though. Do I have clay? I want to do, we didn't, I'm sorry. We didn't, what does the texture say specifically? Physical over paper. So I do have to put it on the paper specifically. Okay. I have this piece left over of the Scrappy Masterboard decoupage paper, which I think I love it so much just because it was so fun to make. And there are so many like unpolished elements that come together to make this design. Let me make some space for myself. I have too many products out, y'all. But that would be pretty, right? That would be so pretty on here. Put the butterflies up here. The only thing with physical texture on a clipboard is it's going to impact its, usefulness a little bit. So like I don't want to put a big old piece of physical texture in the middle because like you wouldn't be able to use it. You wouldn't be able to write on it, right? But I can probably do something around the edges. You know what I'll do is I'll just stipple. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to decoupage this on here. What am I picking up? I'm sorry, my hand is sticky right there. I'm going to decoupage this on the clipboard. And so I'll use a traditional decoupage method when I decoupage it. And then physical texture and stencil. Oh, I have to do a stencil. A raised stencil specifically. I was thinking with physical texture, I could just stipple some gel medium around the edges and make it just look more rusty, and you would still have all of the middle to be able to write on. But this one requires me to do a raised stencil over. So I guess we can just do a raised stencil in a corner so that the majority of the como se dice, the clipboard can still be useful, but we can still follow the rules. So I'm going to put these two together because a raised stencil is physical texture. So these two, I'll just put a raised stencil using physical texture. And so we'll do that over the top, and I'll figure out a stencil to use for that. I think Mara's stencil with the music notes would be cool. I'm going to have to go find it though. And then use an opaque top layer. So this one's good because yesterday when I was using this masterboard, I talked about how one of the negatives of using the masterboards is that sometimes, like, you know, there might be a piece over here that you want to be on your project, but you also want this piece and you can't get them both on there. So I'll demonstrate to you guys today how you can kind of cheat and you can still layer other papers on top of your decoupage paper. So if I decided that I wanted this key right here, this number 5, I could cut it out and I could still add it. And because it's tissue paper, it really doesn't have hardly any profile. And it's really hard to tell when you do that. So we'll figure out what I want to steal from another piece of paper to add to this. I don't want to cut into, I have so many kind of little vignettes on this paper, and I really would hate to disturb one of my vignettes just to cut something off. So I'm going to try to pull something. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Sorry. Well, I'm a crybaby today. I might do this instead. Because that number 7. I need my number 7 today. And if I do that, that bird should clear the clip when it comes down. And that should be tall enough. And so this really does give you an idea that even though I have all these vignettes on here, there's still room for us to kind of, you're not stuck to those, because you can see I'm going to actually cross 2 vignettes. And my question mark is not falling on my paper. So I'm going to cut that off and I'm going to bring it up. And then that way I can show you guys how to make that opaque so it still stands out. Although that's black. That's probably not the best example. I'm going to make a sacrifice for you guys. I'll sacrifice my label. We'll cut this label off. It's white. So if I were to take this white label and decoupage it right on top of here, everything underneath would show through. So I'm going to have to make that opaque in order to use it on here. And I actually might put it right here somewhere. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm using the Scrappy Masterboards. Hey, Chris, how are you this morning? Thank you, Louise, for I don't even know how to hype, girl. I'm trying to figure it out. David and I went and looked at my videos like 4 hours later, and I didn't see the option to hype. But I appreciate, though. Thank you. So here is how, when this is over, come back in a few hours or a day. To the right of the thumbs up will be, you'll see hype. Click on it, and Royce will have a lot more exposure. Thank you so much. So yes, please use the hype, you guys. Come back and, I don't know, check it out and see if you have a hype button on the right of the thumbs up. Good morning, Chris. Oh, you know what, Yvette, though? It says physical texture on the paper. Oh, yeah. It's super specific. right? It says physical texture. Let me see. Because I was thinking about that too, Yvette. Physical texture on the paper. So I have to put the physical texture on the decoupage paper. But we could do it like in places where I'll just put it up top, right? Because you're usually not writing past the clip. So we can do some physical texture up here. And then that way the clipboard is still like, you can still use it. I have no words this morning. I'm still tired. Hey, Judy, how are you? Hey, Paige. You can only hype 3 times a week. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Because I tried to research and YouTube is like really cryptic about it. Like it's a secret or something. It's only for the cool kids. I should have asked my chat bot. It could probably tell me. Lori, are the vendors going to get this back in stock? Yeah, this is available for order. I don't believe we're out at the warehouse. So they can order. Don't quote me because I'm not looking at my inventory, but I don't think it's out of stock. But yes, it'll be restocked if it is out of stock. So this one's not like a limited release. This one, I mean, I think that you guys are gonna like it year round. Oh, you're in Colorado. See, everyone's saying add it to the, I know, but I have to add it to the paper. The raised stencil, I don't have to add to the paper, but, or do I? It just says raised stencil. I could add a raised stencil to the clip and then stipple around the edges on the paper. You guys are very smart. Thank you, Night Owl. I appreciate that. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? Okay, so I'm just going through my comments to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh, good. I know I should go watch Jonathan. So let me get this trimmed. And I'm just running my finger along the edge of the clipboard so I know like where the clipboard stopped. So that way I know where to trim. One more thing I want to call you guys' attention to. You guys can see that I zip tied my clip so that it stays open while I work. You can use a string too. You guys have seen me do that before. And I know you guys are probably tired of watching me do clipboards, but they're so easy. Not easy, but like it's a really cool substrate to work on because it is something that is usable, right? And there's so much opportunity when you're working on a clipboard. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do a clipboard. So it's not like it's going to be the same. I don't think I've done the same clipboard twice, ever. Oh yeah, and I need this label. I'm destroying this vignette just for you guys because I love you. And because it's a label, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it with my scissors. I don't mind if it looks like it's standing on top because it's a label and it would be, right? I feel like I'm far away today. Let me put my camera a little closer. Get a little closer. It's so hard because I have the vertical. And so I'm trying to consider that view and this one. Can you guys see okay? If you look at this label, you can see it's like distressed on the one side right there. So in order to kind of maintain that, I am going to use a wet paintbrush to cut that side. I gotta get my paintbrushes in order out here. I don't have hardly anything. I'm going to take my wet paintbrush along this edge where it's distressed and pull the paper off so that it just looks like it's distressed, right? And then the rest I can just cut off because they're pretty straight. Oh man, I cut that one too. Okay. I hate that I just did that. I'm gonna finish now. The label had a white rim around it, but I just cut it off right there. Let me see. Do I care? I'm leaving it. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So we'll have to make a medallion out of this to decoupage it over the top of our decoupage. So that'll be one of our sticks. And the instruction was specifically to decoupage, to add texture over my decoupage. And let me find... So in order to add decoupage, to add texture over the top of my decoupage and still be able to see what's underneath, I'm going to use some gel medium to create my texture. I just have to find it. I have like so much gel medium. Oh, you know what? So I have here, I've been wanting to use this, some heavy body gel from... It's Artemisia, but this is Pentart. So I'll try this one. And this is from their artist line, but I know that Pentart also has like regular heavy body gel. So you guys can use that to make texture too. So, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one since I have it right here. And so we are decoupaging the paper. And then I'm going to stipple just a little texture around the edges. And then I'll grunge it up, but we'll still be able to see underneath it. I'll use transparent colors to like grunge it up a little bit so that we can still see it. I may actually add color to my heavy body gel and then stipple it on. But I'll use transparent colors so we can still see through it. That actually would be kind of cool. And I think I have some burnt umber out here. Some burnt sienna. So that's going to be perfect. And then for the raised stencil, I do like the idea of doing the raised stencil on the como se dice, the clip. And I'm thinking for that one, we'll use the modeling paste because we're going to paint all this anyways, because the modeling paste is going to be opaque. So we'll use that to do our raised stencil on our clip. And I think that is the plan. How long did that take me? I swear the first 30 minutes of Mad Scientist Monday is me figuring out what I'm going to do. My challenge now is to find a stencil. I'll be right back. You guys don't go anywhere. Chat amongst yourself. I got to go find a stencil. Okay. Let me see. I have like an entire stash of stencils. I'm so ridiculous, you guys. Good morning, Karen. Oh, good, Dawn. I'm glad you enjoy them. I just figured you guys get tired of me doing stencils because, doing clipboards. But I don't know. I just love doing them, and you find them so inexpensively at the thrift store. So you guys do not tell Mara how badly I treated her stencil, but this is a stencil from Mara LaFay. And I was thinking the music notes, but they're kind of bigger than I remember them being. So I'm probably not going to use this one, but this is really cool. And I love her clear stencils because sometimes when you're working on a project, it's nice. Like it's super nice to be able to see through the stencil, right? Okay, so that's a no-go. You guys know I love me number 7, so maybe I'll just do a raised stencil of a number and leave it like that. I might do that. This is a recycled number stencil. And I'm thinking like a number 7 would be nice up there. And it'll kind of go along with the theme of the paper too, to have just that be on there. This is the recycled frames stencil, which generally is for a large frame, but I was just thinking there are a lot of little ornate bits on there, but no. I think I'm going to go with the number. And then this is another one of Mara's stencil. But because I was thinking that I could just make like the whole clip ornate like that, and that might be pretty. But I think I like the number idea better, just because of the paper that we're using. So I'm going to decoupage first. Let's get our decoupage started. And now I don't know what I did with my piece of paper. Did you guys see what I did with my paper? Oh, it's right here. And if you are new here and you're thinking she is a mess, you would be absolutely right. This is a Hot Mess Express over here. So if you are looking for like perfection, oh man, I cut my paper too short. I did not do that. I did. So you guys will get to see me work through that. Y'all see that? Did y'all see what I did? So let me get it decoupaged and then we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. And even if it's not fine, it's fine, right? So let's start with the decoupage. I'm going to be using the traditional method because that's what I pulled. And I should add, it's interesting. I made this game. So if you've never taken a class from me, in my classes, I will generally make some type of a game. Because sometimes when you're just, when you give yourself permission to just play, you really do learn more that way because it releases any expectation, any need for perfection, and you just allow yourself to discover. So I like making games when I teach courses. And so this specific mixed media mashup game is kind of an accumulation of all the games that we've done in the past. And some of my processes have changed since I taught decoupage last. So I don't think the misting method is in this game anywhere. And so for me, misting has become a standard practice. So I don't necessarily think of it as being something separate. So I will be misting my paper because that's how I decoupage. But first I need to trim. I cannot believe I did that. And you guys know the voice in my head was telling me I was cutting in the wrong place, but I wasn't listening. I didn't listen because, you know, I know what's best. So the first thing I want to do is to trim this top piece right here so that it will lay down. And I didn't leave myself a ton of, like, I don't want to be chopping my bird's head off. So I want to make sure. It's a good thing I'm doing texture over the top. And I'm actually probably going to just use the modeling paste now. That's going to help me cover that edge right there. So I always have to think about which direction to cut. If I cut this way, yes. So I am going to cut diagonally so that I have a flap that I can then lay down and cover the top of my clipboard. I was looking for my fussy cutting scissors. And I'm going to cut like super diagonal, if that's a word. I'm thinking, you guys. So my paper is barely long enough. So if I cut perfectly, I may not have enough paper to go all the way over here, which isn't like horrible, but I really like to be able to have that. If I cut this way, that's going to be the wrong way. I need to cut that way. So, right? We'll see. See what I mean? And then I have this flap that'll come above the paper. I didn't cut that right. Every time I do this, you would think as many clipboards as I've done that I would remember how to do this, but every single time I have to stop and think about it. Okay, so I did do it the right way. So now I have this flap that comes up here, and then I only have like a tiny bit. I did a better job on this side. I only have a tiny bit that I kind of have to mask. But your decoupage paper gets to wrap around that clamp. And so I'm actually super happy that I chose physical texture, because that's how I'm going to address the fact that I cut my freaking paper too short. So sad. Now what's going to happen a little bit is, because I'm using the misting method, my paper is going to stretch a little bit. And so this gap won't be as wide, but we're still going to have to address it. Okay. Now for this one, how my paper lays down is pretty important. So I'm going to make sure I get that anchor row started so that I know exactly where I'm going to lay my paper. And I'm going to use a matte varnish. For a clipboard, I want to make sure that it's going to be super durable. And so I generally use a clear coat on them. I'm trying to look for something to put my varnish in. Oh, Lord, have mercy for you. Why did I do a morning class? I know that I am ill-equipped to even like operate in the mornings. Just use my mat. It's fine. Night Owl saying I could always add a lace trim. That would be cute. And lace would be beautiful. But y'all know I'm not going to put no lace on there. I am an industrial grunge girl, but yes, lace would be beautiful. That would be a nice trim that you could put on there. And because it's on the side, kind of out of the way, it would still be a usable clipboard. What is going on here? Welcome to Mad Scientist Monday. We come every Monday and we play a mixed media mashup game. I have to choose 4 random prompts from my prompt pile. That's what we'll call it. And it dictates what projects I'm going to do. So you guys come and you have to watch me work through a project. And you guys get to watch me formulate the project from start to finish, because I genuinely do not know what I'm going to do until I come here with you guys. So I've decided to rename it. It's gone from Mixed Media Mondays to Mad Scientist Monday, because Dorothy Lage posted that and I was like, oh, that is so fabulous. So I messaged her, because you guys know I'm a mad scientist. And if you come to my retreats, we're all mad scientists there. So it was so perfect, I had to steal it. And I forgot to mist my paper. And I think I'm going to regret that. So something, this is a teachable moment. So I did not mist my paper. And you guys see what's happening? My paper is responding to the moisture of my clear coat and it's wrinkling. And so I'm going to pull it back up and put it back down. And we'll just pretend like that clear coat was mist. So I'm going to go ahead and mist it again. When you mist it with paper, you're essentially like pre-stretching your paper so that it does not respond when it comes into the contact of your decoupage medium, because it's already stretched. So that's why I mist my paper. I'm going to put down another layer of medium. Now my paper is pre-stretched, and so it won't respond to the moisture of my decoupage medium, and I'll get a wrinkle-free application. Which is probably more important on a clipboard than on other projects, right? Because you don't want to be writing over lumps. I mean, you can, but okay. I'm going to leave that paper alone before I tear it. So I'm going to mist, and then I'll continue decoupaging this all the way to the top. And so I used to do smaller sections, but with the misting method, because like this is still a smaller project, I'm going to do the whole thing at once. If I were working on a larger piece of furniture, I would mist in sections. So I would only mist the parts of the paper that I'm going to be working on. But this is a smaller project and we'll get it done pretty quickly. So I just went ahead and misted everything. And I always look at my surface from the side to make sure that I don't have any blank spots. I get a lot of messages about people wondering how to get rid of bubbles in their decoupage. And a lot of times those bubbles are caused because there's a spot under your paper that isn't adhered well. So there either wasn't any product put on a spot or there wasn't enough put on there. I really caused myself problems when I started that anchor row without misting first. Let's see if I can recover. And I want you guys to know, like, I know that there are some people who expect us who teach to always be perfect, but we struggle too sometimes, right? Just like you guys do. It's just the more you know, the more information you have, right? The more experience you have, the easier it is to recover because you've probably done it before. So I always say, if you guys hear me say, make sure you blah, 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 it's probably because I didn't make sure I did it at some point and it caused havoc in my life. Do I dare try to pick this up? Whew. I'm tempting fate over here, you guys. But this is one of the reasons I love the 18-pound tissue paper. It is much more forgiving than, certainly more than napkins, right? And so then I just have this one last piece to decoupage. And I am going to follow the exact same steps. I'm being super careful not to get any medium on my clip. I just want it on the board because my paper is going to stick wherever I put medium. And when I look for the side, I'm not just looking to see if I have a medium on there, but like, do I have enough, right? That's going to really serve as a good adhesive for the paper. And now I'm just going to go over everything really quickly. I do have some small wrinkles in my paper. We'll see if they stretch out. I don't know, y'all. I may not have done a good job of recovering. Yes, April, we are all imperfectly perfect. Absolutely. But I know some of my ladies give themselves a hard time because they'll try something and it doesn't work the first time. And so then they're like, well, that doesn't work. And it may not be that that doesn't work. It may just be that you need to practice. Watching and doing are two different things. So I always say you can't say something doesn't work until you tried it at least 3 times. I have to tell myself that too, y'all. It's not just for you guys. Because I need to work on making molds with hot. Because I haven't tried it 3 times. Another thing that you can get bubbles is if you glue down paper and you don't address the bubbles. So like I have a couple of spots where I saw bubbles, and so I'm pushing them out to the edge. Because if I leave them there, they're going to be there. And it can be misleading because if you're working on a project and there's a bubble and you leave it, and then when you come back and it's dry, the bubble is gone. You're like, oh, wow, that's awesome. The bubble disappeared. But that piece of paper is not adhered, right? So if you have an air bubble under your paper, you really want to push that out. The bubble disappears because the paper dries and it tightens up. But then if something happens, like maybe you have a particularly humid summer and your paper like swells, then that bubble may reappear. So you guys will notice, look at how much that paper stretched. You guys remember how much white was showing up here because I cut my paper too short? But because the paper stretches when you wet it, it actually stretched enough to cover a lot of this edge. So now I only have this bottom here to worry about. And see, this is an example. Remember, you know, I always tell you guys to leave yourself a margin of error just in case you're cutting it too short. This is what I'm talking about. If I had left myself a larger margin of error, I was trying to be cheap. I didn't want to mess up my vignette that was next to this. If I had allowed myself a larger margin of error, then the paper would have been, I would have had enough to cover that. So let's go ahead and get this piece on here while everything is wet. Let me find, I know I have plastic in here. There's 2 ways I can approach this project. I can use a 50-50 mixture of your adhesive and paint and put it on the back of here and put it directly on there. But I think for today, I'm going to paint this. I'm just going to paint it white and dry it and then decoupage it over the top. So I don't have, do I have a small brush? And the reason I'm painting it white is because once I wet this, especially because it is white, it'll become transparent and everything underneath will show through. And I don't want this to show through. And because my challenge, right, my prompt is very clear that I need to decoupage something opaque on top of here. So I'm going to make this opaque and then decoupage it right over the top. And I'll just use Army acrylic, because that's what I have right here. You can use whatever paint you have. And I do want to talk about decoupage mediums for just a moment. You guys can you probably already have, if you're already crafting, chances are you already have what you need to be able to do your decoupage projects. If you're someone who does like home decor and furniture, and maybe you have like chalk style paint or clay-based paint, you probably have like a top coat, whether it's a top coat, varnish, clear coat, whatever you call it, water base that you already use to top coat your paint. You can use that to both adhere and to seal your decoupage paper. If you are someone who uses acrylic mediums, you can use your matte medium, your gel medium, to decoupage. Now, I will say that I do prefer the liquid matte mediums over the kind of gel mediums for decoupaging the tissue paper. There's no way if I would have been using a gel medium, it's a lot more tacky, right? So there's no way I would have been able to reposition my paper if I had been using something tackier. And if you're someone who has like craft paint and Mod Podge on your craft table, because that's what you use, then you can use Mod Podge to decoupage as well. I do like to add a little bit of water to it just so it's not as tacky. when I'm decoupaging the tissue paper. Judy says she's like having wrinkles on hers. It's texture. What medium is in your large bottle? Yeah, Night Owl. It's just a water-based varnish is what I have in there. But you can literally use like whatever you have. Lisa says she leaves herself a large margin of error. I know, Lisa, I was trying to be greedy. I didn't want to sacrifice too much of my paper. I love that paper so much. That's what happens, right? I am making all kinds of mistakes this morning. So you guys get to watch and see how I recover. So I'm thinking I can cover a piece of this edge right here by putting this decoupage. Like, will that look weird? Like from, I think it looks fine, right? Just kind of right here on the bottom. I mean, it's a label. It would be, that would be a good place for a label. I'm just gonna put my label there. So the top of my paper where it was too short, it stretched enough to cover. Yay. And then I still have this bottom section and I'm going to cover this part with the label. And I could put the label like upside down and cover more, but I think I like it better this way. So I'm going to go ahead, and now that it's white, I painted the back white and I dried it. So now I'm just going to decoupage it right on top of my paper. So I use a traditional method and I decoupage an opaque piece of decoupage paper over the top of my project. 2 down, 2 to go. And this label, you guys, when I found it, I was way too happy because it is so perfectly grungy. And I mean, you guys see I didn't do anything. Like, that's literally how it looks. Nice and grungy. I like it a lot. Okay, so I covered up a little bit of my edge, and because the paper is so thin, it just really doesn't leave a profile. Like, it just disappears on your surface. And so if you're working on a project, if you have a master board and you are frustrated because there's something over here that you want on your project, you can cut it out and just add it on top. If it's light, you'll probably want to take the time to paint the back and make sure it's opaque so that the things underneath don't show through. But sometimes there are times when I want the things underneath to show through. So it's not like a good or bad, it's just your preference in that moment for that project, right? So let's see. Let me dry this really quickly. Before we do anything else, because I don't want to. You guys know that if your paper is wet and you touch it, you can like pick up the print off the top. I don't want to do that. So decoupage method done. Use opaque top layer done. So 2 down, 2 to go, and one's a stencil and one's physical over paper, which I could do these 2 together, but because we have this edge here, I am going to use my modeling paste, and I'm just going to stipple it on there. I'll probably just stipple it right here and then stipple it over here on this side just a little bit to balance it out, and not use a ton because I do want my clipboard to be usable. Jerry, Royce, have you always liked grunge? I mean, I don't know if since I've been crafting, yes. It's Tim Holtz's fault because when I first started crafting, everything that Tim Holtz did was grungy. And I think that that's where it started, was with him. And then I like steampunk too. So that kind of adds to it too. Night Owl, you may want to try a water-based varnish for your projects. If you know, if you feel like the Mod Podge is taking forever, Wise Owl Paint has a flower enamel, and it doesn't just dry fast; it cures fast. And so OHE, or 1 hour enamel clear, might be a good option for you to use because you can use it to both decoupage and to clear. and to coat your projects, and it is water-based. And they're in Michigan, the people who make that. So I'm assuming that maybe that's why they came up with that product. I don't know. Elizabeth, I wish there was a retailer around me so I could actually see the papers. I'm so old school. I like to see and feel things purchasing. I know, Elizabeth, if you have a creative business person that you go to for your other products, you can suggest to them that they carry recycled decoupage paper. I am always looking for retailers. So the way that it works is that people apply to be a recycled retailer, because we have so if you are a creative business and you're looking for a brand to carry, Roy Cycles, it might be a good brand for you. We do offer territories, meaning that you don't have to worry about somebody moving next door or in the same antique mall as you carrying the same product. We offer training, which I need to get my training on a calendar. I said I was going to do it in March. Anyways, I was sick for a week, y'all. I'm behind on everything. We offer, like, every year I will generally do a class that has to do with a product that I sell. So you guys have done my Decoupage with Confidence course. Well, that was free for my retailers because I want them to be able to decoupage with confidence if they're selling the product, right? So you do have to apply in order to become a retailer, but you can find the information at roycycle.com. Just click wholesale and you guys can see the information. If you fill out the form, we'll send you additional information. And you guys, I did not put grunge under my paper today. I was so frazzled. I didn't do it. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm sorry, girl. Why you got to come in here with the T word? Why you have to do that to me? It's early. Not today. Not today. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sand the extra off of here, and then I'll look at where we are, and we'll move on to our next steps. And this is just like a little finger sander. I do love these. Anything that allows me to like hold, I have, and I mean, my arthritis isn't like horrible, but it's there. Today's not too bad. It's not cloudy or anything, but I do have days where my hands hurt more. And so using like a piece of sanding paper can be a little bit more difficult. And you guys know how it is when you're creating, like, it's not fun to have to deal with stuff like that if you're trying to be creative. So one of the things that I do is I either have these finger sanders that I keep because I'm able to grip them without having to hold something tiny, or I even buy these like sanding pads, right? Because it's still something more substantial than a piece of paper. You guys will notice I'm impatient, so I know I only want to go down when I sand, but if I go straight down, like, I feel like it takes longer. So what I'll do is start at the bottom of my sander, and then I'll go down the whole time, but I'm going down and across. So I can cover more area faster. And I don't like to come up because I don't want to risk pulling my paper up. Oh yeah, there's 2 pieces of paper. I'm like, why is that being so difficult? Not difficult, it's just taking a little longer. It's because I'm sanding through 2 pieces of paper right here. Okay. And I am using recycled decoupage paper. You guys, I wanted to show you a picture. Louise, why are you yelling? I don't have a gel plate class. Inside of my membership, we spent a couple of weeks working on the gel plate though. what was I going to come do? Oh, I was going to show you guys a paper that we're working with today. So this is Roycycle Decoupage paper. If you're new here, Roycycle Decoupage paper is an 18-pound tissue paper, which means it's heavier than regular tissue paper. And they're 21 inches by 29 inches. So you get like a really large sheet of paper. And you'll see that we've only just barely used the left top corner for this clipboard. And so there's still all the rest of that paper to use on other projects. So that's what we're decoupaging with today. Let me get back to comments. Okay. I don't have a gel plate class. Honestly, like I can teach how to use a gel plate, but like I'm not an expert. There's so much you can do with a gel plate. It is crazy. Every time I think I know everything, I don't. I'm super excited. Jane's going to be teaching something at the retreat using your gel plate. And everybody gets their little plate. You guys want to see what we made with our gel plate pulls inside of the membership? I'm going to show you guys. Well, I made. So once you start working on your gel plate, you pull, and any of you who've already done it, you pull so many pieces of paper in one session, because once you get started, you're just in the zone and you're pulling paper, and it's so much fun. And so I wanted to talk about ways you could use the paper. And so I made these brooches using like pieces of paper that I pulled off of the gel plate during one of our classes. Aren't they gorgeous? This one looks like a stone. And I almost was like, after doing the tray last night, this is why I love creating, you guys. It compounds over time. Like your ideas just start compounding into each other and they turn into almost completely new ideas. So yesterday, do you guys want me to go on this cul-de-sac? I do, Judy. I hang my clipboards like in my office space and they're like wall art, but I can pull them down and use them when I need to, right? So like this one, for instance, is a piece of paper, and it is like a piece that it wasn't even my favorite last night. The crazy part is this was not like, I didn't consider this a successful pull because I didn't pull up all the paint. And so, but I always keep them because you never know. So this is the paper that I used to make this brooch. Crazy, right? But then I was thinking, after using the crackle medium, the 2-part crackle over last night's project, so I don't know, I'm live every Sunday night. And last night we worked on a tray and we did a 2-part crackle over the top. And the crackle on the blue made me think of turquoise. And so now I'm like, what if I do a 2-part crackle over this paper before I put it in my brooch? It would look like turquoise, right? Like, this is why I love creating, because your ideas really do compound. And so once you start, I don't know, my brain is just crazy, y'all. But you guys know I'm going to do it. I might do it today before I leave. I mean, not with us together, but like here, just to experiment and see if that idea works. And then I'll expand on that idea and figure out where to use it. Oh yeah, Louise, definitely. I bought them. I thought I bought the ones that were like, I didn't know they were going to be that goldy and shiny, but yeah, definitely rust the metal on those, or at least add some dark something on there. Okay. So I have a couple of spots around my edges that aren't tacked down perfectly. So I'm just going to go in with a brush and do that super quickly. I'm moving really slow this morning because my brain is moving slow. Woo, that would not have been good. And when your paper isn't tacked down, it's not a big deal if it's an edge, because you can just go in and put more product, right? And get it tacked down. Okay. So we still have to do some physical texture. I'm just going to use a couple of things. Whenever I'm stippling, I like using a round or oval brush is my preference. I feel like I get a more organic shape from my stipple. When I use a square brush, I get like really angular shapes, which I don't like. Oh, I could have just left that on there because that's about all I'm going to need. And this is molding paste from PintArt is what I'm going to be using today. Should I thought about coloring this. I think I will. Let's add some, I'm thinking burnt umber might be, is that going to be the right color? And this is just some acrylic ink that I have on my desk. This is Liquitex's acrylic ink, and I'm putting some burnt umber on here. Oh yeah, that's the perfect color. But let's add a little bit more. And I could have also used my Van Dyke Brown fluid acrylic too, would have been good. But the burnt, I think this is actually burnt. Yeah, this is burnt umber. I thought I had burnt sienna out here. I do, but that's going to be a little bit too red. I think the burnt umber is going to be good. I wonder how this is going to dry though. I guess we will see together. Worst case scenario, if it's not dark enough, we can just go in and add more pigment later, right? So what this is going to do, I'm adding physical texture. And so in case you came on later, I cut my paper too short. And so I'm going to go over with this physical texture, and that's going to camouflage the edge of that. And because this is physical texture, it's also going to hide the profile from the paper. You know what I mean? So it's just going to hide the color of the paper, but it's going to hide like the presence of the end of the paper right there. So I'm going to add that right here. And then for balance sake, because I don't want to have like a random like stippled edge over there, I'm going to also do it over here on this side. And it's kind of nice because this color is in this little piece of paper right here. So it's all going to feel cohesive and purposeful and not like I was just trying to hide a mistake. And I'm just putting a little bit because this is a clipboard, right? And I want to be able to use it as such. So I'm going to dry that. I love stippling texture onto surfaces because if you use stipple texture, it really does offer you so many different opportunities to lay color in layers and to produce dimension into your projects. We're just using like tiny bits of texture today because I don't want to put a bunch of texture over the top of the paper. But like I'm working on a painting right now, and I actually stippled the entire thing with my heavy body gel because I know that I want to lay down different textures. It's just when you create that stipple, you have your recessed areas you can drop color into. You can dry brush colors over the top. So you can lay down multiple colors and they don't end up all mixed together. You just end up with like these different visual layers. I love it. Love it. So physical texture on top of my paper. Done. I don't like the color of that. So we'll go in and play with that. I wasn't sure. I should have known that that's pretty much how it was going to dry. Just because this is opaque. Maybe I should have used let's use the heavy body gel with the same step. Let's do the same step, but use a heavy body gel with our raised stencil and see what it looks like. I'm probably going to be upset with myself for not doing that because I think it's going to be pretty. I just need to be dry enough to touch so I don't like smear it, and then we can move forward. It's already been an hour, you guys. Oh my gosh. Hey, Lisa. Oh, Peruvian. I know. See, you know all about jewelry, Karen. I mean, I used to make jewelry, but not like bougie jewelry. Yeah, burnt umber is my favorite. Burnt sienna is pretty too. It's just more red. I didn't know if I needed it to be that rich. Let's go ahead and do our raised stencil. Let me put this away. I should have done the raised stencil with the paste. I'm going to do the heavy body gel just because I'm curious about something. This is the lab, right? The Mad Laboratory. So a lot of times if my prompts lead me to something, I want to experiment and see. I want to just and see where it leads. And so in my mind's eye, I'm thinking that because this is transparent, that the color, like the white of the modeling paste, right, neutralized my color, right? Because now I'm competing with the white, not neutralized, desaturated it. And so that's why it looks like that. But this is clear, so it's not going to desaturate the ink the way that the modeling paste did. So we're going to experiment and see what happens. If I add my ink, that's going to be way too much. Don't be wasteful, Royce. Oh, my mat is not the cleanest. It shouldn't desaturate it because it's clear, but we're going to see if I'm right. And so the color should maintain its richness. Of course, the ink is kind of watering down my stuff a little bit. This heavy body gel is heavy, y'all. It does not want to break down, which is good. And I'm right, though. You guys see how, and it hasn't even dried yet. It'll dry more clear. So because this is clear, it's not desaturating the color. It's still maintaining the same color. And this is what I should have done. And this is what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to do it right over the top of this. Dang it. I stuck my brush in the water. Okay. I am going to take this and stipple it. I'm trying to pull as much water as possible out of this brush. And I'm going to stipple this on top of here so that I can get the color that I wanted. And it's a little desaturated, but I think it's going to look richer once the clear, once the heavy body gel dries. And then I'll go ahead and use the modeling paste for the number, which is more appropriate. Okay, let me dry that. That is much better, right? It's a much richer color. That's what I wanted. My picture is killing me. I don't know why it's square. I'm going to just move it. You guys don't need to see me, right? Oh, but I can't remove me because then let me see something. Okay, I'll just be mindful and use down here. So you guys can see that looks a lot more rich than it did when I used the modeling paste. And not that the modeling paste is bad, it's just, it's white. And so it just desaturated that color. And this is going to be even richer once it dries because it dries clear. So Lisa, the metal clip, I haven't done anything yet. All I did was put the Pin Art bonding primer on it to prep it. And so that way, whatever we do is going to bond to that primer. I love it. I cannot scratch it off. I love it on metal We used it on plastic for the first time last night. So I'm still out on plastic. It's scratching off pretty easily. So it definitely works better on metal than on plastic. Now, you guys know the one thing I'm going to hold issue with is because this is shiny, but it's okay. I'll just go over everything with my matte medium at the end, and it will be fine. And honestly, I guess it was good that we used the modeling paste because it was opaque and it covered up the white edge of the paper. And then having this on top, I get to bring in the color, because if we use this initially, you would still see the white underneath. So it all worked out for the best. So I watched the hype video. So you have to return after the video, then you like, then hype. That's what we tried. I think, I don't know if I have, I'm going to try again, Lou, because I know. I want to figure it out. I really do. Because I did it on David's phone, because my phone knows it's my YouTube channel. And it didn't give us the option of hype. Of course, we're both in the same house. Maybe that's why. So if you guys go back to last night's video, if you guys do me a favor, those of you who are here, will you guys help me experiment? And you have to do it on your phone. I don't think you can do it on your phone or tablet. I don't think you can do it on a desktop. But if you guys watch on your tablets or your phone, if you guys will go back to last night's live video and like it, and then see if you get the option to hype it. And if you do, if you'll hype it, that would be awesome. I am not going to trim this section under the, that's underneath, because I need for this to dry completely before I trim it, because I don't want to tear it. And I'm like making snips to release the texture on this little piece here. I'll show you guys in just a minute. I just made snips on the side because this goes in a little bit right there, and I want the paper to lay down all the way down there. But I know that there's moisture still there. So when this dries completely, I'll go in with my blade and I'll just trim around that. If I try to do it now, it'll just tear because the paper isn't like completely dry. But let's get the clip done because we are running out of time. Let me clean up this mess. I need to do a reset on my table, y'all. Because I meet with you guys on Sunday and on Monday, and then we meet weekly inside of my recycled membership. So I'm here crafting quite often. I'm excited about this week's membership. We're going to start looking at what you can do. So about 2 years ago, I discovered these rolling mats. You buy this mat right here is oh Lord, what's the stuff that doesn't stick to anything? And it has opened up so many creative possibilities for me because nothing sticks to it. And so we're going to be experimenting with the mat for the next few weeks. And there is so much. I have a class prep for you guys for Wednesday night. I'm so excited. But I digress. So I have this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and use the modeling paste because we saw the modeling paste. I mean, we saw the heavy body gel, right? And so we know it stayed transparent, so the color wasn't desaturated. It's beautiful. I do want to put a number 7 up here. I think it goes with the whole theme of the paper. It's going to look almost like a, in my mind's eye, I would like for it to almost look like a brass tag. So I'll probably use like a metallic up here. But where is my number 7? Oh, there it is. So I have this number 7 here, and I'm just going to center it right here. And I have my little spatula that I just stuck in the jar. You guys should see my pants. These are my painting pants. So you guys know the leg of my pants has all kinds of stuff on it because I wipe stuff on my pants all the time. Oh, is Jane here? Silicone. Thank you, Julie. Help me out. Is Jane here? I didn't see Jane. Jane, if you're here, I did see your message, but it was before I was coming on live. I will have everything to you by close of business today, and you guys will have a week to review all the entries. I just am trying to catch up. I got so behind when I was sick that week, and so I'm trying to get everything done. But I'm not going to like send it to you and ask you to get it back to me in a day. I promise. I promise. So I have my stencil, and I'm literally just going to wipe this modeling paste right over my stencil. And I'm holding my stencil still because I don't want it to move while I'm doing this. Right? And when I go over, I want to just go over. I don't want to dig down into the stencil because then I'm just going to pick up what I laid down. So you really just want to go over the top of your stencil. And I am going to pick that up. So now I have a 7, which you guys probably can't see yet. A 7 that's there, right? So let's dry this modeling paste, which actually dries pretty quickly if I remember right. And then we can paint our clip. And it is 10:24. I guess I am just ridiculous. But it really does take me about 20 minutes just to figure out what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll get faster. Like the longer I do this Mad Scientist Monday business, the faster I'll get at formulating plans. Oh my goodness, Jane, I'm sorry. Okay, Karen, I know. So that's the thing with the hype is not everybody has it. But if you do have it, if you could give me a hype, that would be fabulous. Because what it does is it tells YouTube that my video is fabulous and everybody needs to see it. Hey, Rima, you're home already? Does that mean they didn't choose you? I'm trying to think of what color I want to paint this. I have a color, and I think I have it right here too. I'm not going to use milk paint. I know that's what you guys think. Well, I might. I don't know. Well, now that I said it, I might. No, this is a Wise Owl, and this is iron oxide. It's like a rust color. I'll use that. I won't use. If we had more time, I would probably use milk paint, though. I cannot tell a lie. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this because it's thick. Maybe we can dry it. I mean, maybe I can paint like, let me get it a little bit drier and then we'll see if I can paint it. Julie, I can put a list. I don't have links because I don't sell. I have a link for the paper and that's about it. But I can know exactly what brand I use and what products I use. Ooh, thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. So I got at least one hype. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? You did the hype too? Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited you are coming to the retreat. I'm excited everybody's coming, but Carolyn is fairly new to our membership. So she's new to our madness, and now she gets to experience it in person. And you guys know what? While I'm drying this, I'm going to show you guys a short video. It's just 1 minute. And it is about the Roy Cycles retreat. Let me see. I'll do one of the short videos, not the full minute one. I have some that are just a few seconds. It's not showing me a picture, dag nabbit. I'm going to do
Come
this
for the
one.
community. Come and just feel this freedom to be yourself and to learn in a very safe space.
Royce started the conference or the retreat with talking to us about how, we're in a safe space and stuff. And everyone has been really kind.
Spending time with a lot of creatives.
Everyone, it's a diverse group. Everyone is from different places and different areas, and everyone has been just really kind.
Come and meet women who are like-minded.
The community, the giant group of like-minded, wonderful ladies that were here. It just fit. We all just fit. It was perfect.
Sorry about that. Thank you. I was just talking away too. The video automatically turns my volume off, and for some reason those videos are longer than they are. So the volume was still turned down. But if you're interested in coming to the retreat, if you're on Facebook, you can put #retreat and you'll get a message. If you're on YouTube, I did put the QR code and you guys can use that to find out more information. We do still have seats available. We're about 5 weeks out, so it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. It's stressing me out. It's not stressing me out. I want everything to be so good, and we do so much work to ensure that everyone has a fabulous time. I don't know where all my stir sticks are. Should I use one of these? Should I use my least favorite prompt as a stir stick today? Maybe a little bit. I don't need a lot of paint. I just need a little bit. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of salt wash. And salt wash is just a powder additive. You add it to your paint and makes your paint thicker so that when you stipple or whatever, you can trowel it, you can stipple it. When you make texture, right, it's thicker. And I'm going to do this. Don't do what I'm doing, you guys. Never do this. Never add salt wash right on the lid of your paint container. Don't do that. But I'll take care of it later. And I usually start off with like a 50-50 mixture, and I go from there. How thick you want it really depends on how high you want your peaks. So when you stipple, you make like a bunch of little peaks. And the thicker your paint, the higher your peaks will be. And you can keep going over your stippling to make it finer too. Like when you first put it on, it looks a little rough, but if you go back over it again, you can make it look finer. And I prefer to use my round brush, but it's already wet. So, and it's a Klingon brush and they absorb everything. So I'm not even gonna. And my 7 is still a little wet, but I think we're okay. The crust on the top is enough that I can stipple this on. And this is one of those projects that we're going to have to, so on our first Monday in April, we'll circle back to like finished projects, and this will probably be one of them, right? We still have to finish our butterfly wing lady, because I have to figure out how to fix her wings because I cut through them on accident still. And we'll finish with our transfers. And then I have a couple of spots where paper stuck where I didn't want it to stick. And so I'm going to show you guys how I fixed that. And then we still have our second tag that we started last week. And then this now. And the reason why I want to do these sessions with you guys is because so often when you watch a live, we're not really finished with the project. Like, we're finished enough for you to get an idea of what the final result is going to be. But more often than not, there are additional steps that we need to take in order to really finish a project. And you guys never get to see that part. And I feel like it can be frustrating for you because then when you sit down to replicate that project, you don't get the exact result and you feel like you've done something wrong. But it's probably a small detail that you just didn't get to see because we're live and there's only so much that we can do. Let's see, are you going to bring a lot of these projects to the venue for a retreat so we can see them? Probably, because you guys know I'll have vignettes all over. I have a settee that I have to get painted. That's what I should be doing in the membership, is painting that damn couch. Sorry about my language, y'all, but that's how I feel right now. Because I get these really awesome ideas. I bought this gorgeous settee like a year ago, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to paint this, and we can have it at the retreat. And now we're 5 weeks out. Ask me if I've even shampooed the thing yet. Ask me, because the answer is no, I have not. I have not even shampooed it yet. But I'm going to get it done. I am going to get it done. Add a couple of more colors to this really quickly. I just have a little bit of black here. And I need some orange. Do I have orange? Oh, Lord. I have some red, just a wee bit. And I have some ochre yellow. We'll just use that. We'll make our own orange. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Okay. But yes, we'll have them. They'll more than likely be there. And probably... because we're probably not going to do whatnot for a while. Just time. I don't know. I say that, and then I'm not going to do whatnot unless like I go on a huge pick or something. Like if somebody invites me to come on a huge pick and I like get some stuff. But other than that, we're probably not going to do any more for a bit. And this is just haphazard. I don't know. I'm trying not to put a ton of texture on my 7 because I do want to go over it with some metallic. And so whenever I'm doing these finishes, I just go like, I don't know. I just keep dabbing until I get to something I like. I don't know. I do have like a full course though on like creating textured finishes. It's a textured masterclass. It started off, I was just going to teach a simple patina. But if you've ever taken one of my classes, you guys know I have issues. My mind populates ideas 24/7. I literally did not sleep last night. I did not sleep because my mind is hyper-focused on the retreat. And it's like solving problems whether I want it to or not. And so in bed, this is me, okay? It's 2 a.m. and I am trying to go to sleep because I have a super busy day today. And what is my mind thinking about? Make sure and have George cut those PVC pipes so that we can raise the tables, because one of the feedback we got last year was the tables were like normal table height, which after a while, kind of hurt your lower back. So I'm like, okay. And if we do the PVC, we're gonna have to put something on the feet of them so that they don't skid. So we'll need to figure out that. And I think I'm gonna put like 6 tables for project tables. And then since we're gonna only have like 35 or 40 people, that should be plenty, because that should be 6 people per table. Like, this is my mind. This is my mind at 2 a.m. And I mean a constant stream of consciousness about all the details of the retreat that my mind is all of a sudden hyper-focused on figuring out. So I am loopy this morning, but there's reason. George on a picking. You know what though, Karen? I have so much stuff. Oh, thank you, Night Owl, for hyping me. Thank you. I have so much stuff. There'll still be plenty for you guys to pick. It's funny. That's another reason why I told David, I'm like, I really haven't been on any big picks. I'm like, we're gonna have to have something for the ladies, to be able to pick when they come. So I should be listening to Delta Waves. I know there is value though, because I did work through some things that I was kind of worried about last night while I was like, so I'm asleep, but I'm awake. It is, I don't know if any of you guys do this. Sometimes it's at night and sometimes it's first thing in the morning where I'm still asleep. Sometimes like this morning, I was dreaming that I was at a track meet, my youngest son's track meet, but it was like inside this building and I couldn't figure out like how to get out of the building. And so I stopped to ask this guy how to get out the building. So he was walking me out of the building. And then I was asking him questions about the retreat and he was helping me figure stuff out. Like, it is ridiculous. You guys, I'm telling y'all, if y'all could come inside of here, y'all would just be like Royce. Girl, you got problems. And I do. But yes, Jane, I should be. But I did work through a lot of stuff last night, though. So there's that. I'm super happy that I have a really clear idea. I like to be able to see things beforehand. Like, I don't want to get there and have to figure it out. Even if I have to change it, if I can at least see it already, it makes me feel better. Okay, that's all I'm going to do right now. If we look at it later and I feel like I need to do a little bit more, we will. But I think that is good. And then we'll put a metallic on there. And then that is where we will stop with today's project. And I'll do a review because I know you guys are popping in on different times. So I'll do a full review right now. Let me close this paint. I always use this paint for rusty stuff, so it's okay that I got a little bit of salt wash in there. I'm going to dry this, and then I'm just going to use my finger to add a little metallic over the top of that. And then I'll do a review of the project. I almost feel like I should have put a little bit of that here. What do you guys think? We'll do it when we do it together, but I do think it would look more cohesive if this texture matched texture on the clip. Ooh, Amy, Velvet Patter. Lucid Dreaming, is that what it's called? Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit, Jane. I'll have to be honest with you. So I wonder if that coach was my subconscious. Was I having a conversation with my subconscious? I did make it out of the building, by the way. So there's that. The mind is crazy to me. I woke up this morning because there was like all these kids that were at the track meet. And like, there's a question I ask myself often. And one of the questions is like, when you dream about people, because I didn't recognize any of those people, like, is your mind just taking faces that you've seen that you didn't pay attention to and like building these people in your dreams? Or is your mind like actually building whole new people? Right? I'm sure you guys don't think about crazy stuff like that. So for my metallic, like usually I go for the pale gold, and I might still, but I think I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this. I forget the name of this. This one's from Amy Howard. She puts the colors on the side of the labels that you remove, so it makes it hard to remember. but I want to say, it's metallic, but it's a dark metallic. Look at how pretty that is. And so I do want to lighten it a little bit though. So I'm going to also mix a little bit of the pale gold. And I love having pigments on my table because I can always make what I need. And all you have to do is just mix them with a little bit of water-based sealer, and you can make like your own metallic paint. And if you have different colors, you can kind of make whatever you need in the moment. So I'm going to mix this together and see if I like it. And I'm only mixing a little bit because you can't like mix it and keep it forever because it doesn't stay really good. And I hate wasting. So I'm trying to just mix like a little bit because I only need a tiny bit for what I want to do. So yeah, so I got to call George right now so he can start making the PVC the PVC pipes to raise the table. We're going to raise them up to counter height. That way for my people who are vertically challenged, I don't want the tables to be too tall either. So we're going to do countertop height on the tables for the stations. I like having everyone move around at the retreat. So you're not just sitting at a table listening to me talk all weekend. You'll be actively doing experiments yourself. So it's going to be fun. Okay. So I'm just going to take my finger and I want to go over because I want that 7 to pop off of here. And can I use, I found these little things. I think they're for clay or maybe they're for nails. I don't know, but it's like silicone. It's very interesting, but my finger is too fat. So I'm going to try to use this because I really only want to put the metallic over the 7. I don't want it everywhere. I may have built up a little bit too much texture around it. Not too much, but you know. The texture of the stipple is kind of competing with the raised stencil a little bit. Okay. So that is our project for today, you guys. Let's just review really quickly what my challenges were today and how I met them. So one was a traditional decoupage method. So traditional decoupage method to me is just like a wet decoupage, right? You're putting your product down and you're laying your paper in it. So you're not using the iron-on method. You're just using the traditional decoupage method. That was one. And then one was to decoupage, use an opaque top decoupage layer. And so I cut this label off another piece of the masterboard and we painted it the back white, and then we decoupaged it right over the top of this decoupage, and you can barely tell. It looks like it's always been there and like it's a part of the design. So if you have a masterboard, because Roycycle decoupage paper, there are a lot of masterboards, and there's something on another part of the paper that you want in your project, you can still cut it out and use it on your project. And so that's what we did today. And it says physical texture over your paper. So I had to do physical texture over the paper. So we used some heavy body gel. And this is Artemisia, but it's Pentart. And we stippled it on here. And I did add a little bit of acrylic ink in burnt umber. You could have used paint too. That would have been fine. I am going to go back though, I think, and go over this. This is, we went over it with modeling paste, but because the modeling paste is an opaque white, it desaturated the color a lot and I didn't like the way it looked. So then we mixed the acrylic ink into the body gel and the color is beautiful. It's a lot closer to what I imagined, but now it's a lot different than my clip. So I'm probably going to go in and just stipple a little bit of that on when we get done here onto my edges so that I have some cohesion with everything being kind of the same. So that was my physical texture over my paper. And then my fourth one was a raised stencil. And so I did do a raised stencil using the modeling paste on my clip right here. It's still a little bit wet, but it was dry enough that we were able to stip on kind of this rusty kind of patina finish over the clip. And so that was our project for today. I am not finished. We'll finish together on our first Monday in April because I do want to grunge all of the edges all the way around. You guys already know. I want to do some more. And so I may even make, I don't know, a pendant or something to put on here. Like I've been liking, these are some clay ones that we did. They're just air dry clay. I need to finish this one, but then we went over the top. We pressed in, I don't know, I think this was like a plastic Christmas tree piece that I pressed into the clay. And then we went over it with some resin, some colored resin to make these. But I have a bunch of these. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to make a pendant for this as well, just so it's like complete. But we'll do that together when we circle back to our projects to finish them. But that is all I have for today. Hey, Angela, how are you this morning? How are things going over there in Tennessee? I'm surprised by the many different recycled papers that were used in your creative contest. Seriously, not a lot of repeats. Certainly, we all have represented the many different papers. You know what? Thank you so much for bringing that up because I forgot all about that. You guys have until next Sunday to vote. Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to share you guys. I'm going to share a QR code with you guys because some people said they were having problems finding the albums. The best way to vote is to go to the albums, you guys. If you go to the section of my Recycled Facebook page where the albums are organized, they're all organized, they're titled. So you can go into the hobbyist home decor, and then you can go into the professional home decor, and you can vote for your favorite pieces. It's super easy. You just like them. That's it. Your like is your vote, and you can like as many pieces as you like. So please, please, please go over and if for no other reason to be inspired, because there are so many gorgeous pieces in there. And there are a couple of wall pieces that just really blew me away. I think there's two. There's one they're in different categories, but there's two wall pieces, and I mean like huge wall pieces. There's furniture, there's home decor, there's art. There's so much inspiration. And I am so grateful for everyone who submitted pieces. I've been inspired by a lot of the pieces that were shared for the contest. So yes, if you guys haven't voted yet, hop over and take a look at the pieces. And if you go to the Recycle Treasures page and you go to photos, if you're on your phone or your tablet, there'll be a see all button that'll take you to the albums. But if you're on your desktop, you should see albums as a choice. And if you click albums, it'll take you to where all of the albums are so that you can vote for your favorite pieces. But that is all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for your patience, because y'all know when I first came, you guys can probably tell I was so asleep. I will be an hour later next week. I'm going in the house right now and I'm changing the time because 9 o'clock is just too early for me. I cannot. Do you have a video for those little rounds that you did with resin and clay? Lisa, I don't. We did that inside of the membership. So, I mean, there's a video in there, but I don't have a video tutorial anywhere else for that. We spent about 7 weeks exploring air dry clay. You guys, if you like my mad scientist style of teaching, you may want to consider joining us in the Recycled Besties membership, because we take deep dives on like one subject and we explore like all the options. So for the air dry clay, 5 or 6 weeks, I don't remember. Karen is here, I think. I mean, so I'm not saying I won't do it, Lisa. I may do it one day, but I don't know, girl. My list of things to do is really long. But we take these super deep dives and we spend weeks going on over one project. And the beautiful thing about the membership is that we have different people who have different levels of expertise. So like I'll say, let's look at air dry clay, right? And we have Karen who's here today who makes a lot of jewelry. And so she'll make suggestions for things that we can do with air dry clay that I would have never thought of. And it's because she does jewelry and that's her perspective. And then we have Rima who works with resin a ton. And so she'll make suggestions about what we can do with resin, which I would have never thought of. So you have like this hive mind, sorry, of mad scientists. My reminder said 12 p.m., but you started at 11 a.m. Really? That's weird. I'm gonna go double check that, Chris, because if I got here early for no reason, I'd be mad. I'm gonna double check. Thank you, Chris. And so everybody comes, and Chris is in the membership too, with different ideas of what we can do. And so it's not just me showing up and like teaching. It really is led by the membership. We spent weeks doing like DIY mirrors because I want to say it was either Olga or Madonna, I can't remember, who asked for that, right? So it's led by the membership. We take super deep dives. We start at the beginning and we work our way through. We experiment. We've actually discovered some things through our experimentation. So if you're interested in the membership, you can go over to recycledacademy.com and you'll find a link there to be able to get more information. We would love to have you. Good morning, Kelly. But that is all I have today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that you guys could be sharing your time with anyone else, doing anything else. And so I'm grateful that you choose to spend your time here with me. You guys have a blessed week, and we will see you next Sunday, Lord willing. Have a good day. And you guys remember, like, we're here to experiment, because where experimentation goes, creativity follows. Give yourself permission to play and experiment, and you will be so surprised on how much you grow creatively. Have a blessed day.